How's it going, YouTube? op.poker James here. I thought it's about time for another live play. This time we're going to play $50 limit. It's something that I've been playing at the moment, doing a bit of a grind on these games. It's coming up to Christmas time, so these are often the softest time for playing poker in the year online. Let's jump into the tables and see how soft they actually are. All right, let's see what we're playing for. Just the old 2x multiplier, that's okay though. I don't know either player. I've been marking quite a few players. Overall, I think I've got most of the regs now. Most regs don't min raise from the small blind, but it is possible. I mostly 3x raise from the small blind against the big blind. Unless I know the big blind is quite tight, then I might start making smaller raise sizes. That's generally my strategy, but I do know some really good players are doing lots of sizes from that position. All right, so this confirmed my feelings that they're probably a recreational player. I don't know any regs that make a bigger raise size than the minimum on the button, because you want to play as many hands as possible there. So it looks like we've got at least one rec on the table. I feel like I know JVS. I feel like I've marked them before, so I don't understand why it's not showing. But it's okay. We'll see if we're playing a reg or not, in time will tell, right? But yeah, these games are pretty decent at the moment. I think it's mainly due to the time of the year. So I'm pretty happy with that. 10 Jack, first playable hand. I'm only min raising from the button. That's all I'm going to do. Min raise or fold. King 9-8 board. Could bet, could check. I think they're both fine. I'm going to go with a bet, but I think checking should be done every now and again, especially when I got a heart in my hand. It means I can check back and call against bets. They do call me. I think this is mostly a bet spot, but could also be checked, I think, but we get it through, so I'm happy with that. I prefer to go on the more aggressive approach of things in general. Aces against eights. Oh, the eights won. So probably playing a bit of heads up now against what I think is a regular. They didn't do anything bad. I would have done the same as them. So now we're playing heads up poker. I'm a little bit more comfortable so far with the heads up part than the free-handed bit. I'm still very fresh when it comes to... Should I ISO this? I think I will. Generally, like when you're wanting to use hands to ISO people's limps in the small blind, you want to have a wider range of kind of trashy hands in general. Even you can, even like if Sol was saying, you could be doing it with stuff like King 9, King 10 as well. So it's not just trash. It should just be a full range spectrum. Not that anyone's really playing like that too often, but there's not much of a right or wrong answer when it comes to what to ISO non all in as a bluff. Queen 4, I could check back or shove. I think I prefer shoving. Obviously, if he's got a better queen than me, he's always going to call, but I want to I don't want to give a free card on such a wet board. Anyway, we take that down, so I'm happy. 10-5, I guess we could limp or raise. Do I want to bet this? Yeah. Generally, I want to just bet my trash on boards like this. If I've got a bit of like backdoor draws and stuff, I much prefer checking those kind of hands back. Just a little bit. It looks like if our opponent does a lot of this kind of stuff, then I have to switch my check back range and my betting range so that I can call, because I've got all these backdoor draws. But it really depends on if he's always going to do that or not. If he's going to make that size very often, then that's what I got to do. But it's not been too common for me so far that people would do that. King 9, I could call or raise. I'm going to go with a call. Turn card isn't that bad for my hand. It's generally bad for my range, but not that bad for my hand. So I guess we won't be going anywhere yet. King high could still be good, most definitely. At this point we got a lot of Jack X, so we're pretty well covered. He doesn't bet. What? I would be betting there for value for sure. Now we got a flip. Can we win the flip? Doesn't look good. No, we can't. All right, let's chuck another game in then. Doing really well so far. Not in this game, but in general on the 50s. Enjoying myself. Like how the games are at the moment. So we got JVS again, and we got someone who we've already marked. When I've got green, it means recreational. So generally looks good. I would say most games have had at least one recreational, so that's really good for $50 spins. So we've got 2 overs, a gut shot, and a backdoor flush draw. Pretty nice set of hands, I have to say. So I'm betting the turn to try and get king highs and ace highs off. And then I'll decide what to do on the river. King Jack, I'll call a non-all-in free bet from this player, but if they just shoved on me, I think I'll let this one go. Okay. I do like betting more against recreational players when I'm in this position, but I think this hand I prefer to check. I wanted to get to showdown with it. Can I call? I wouldn't blame someone for calling here, actually, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it for now. I think it's pretty close in terms of EV. Ace Jack, if we get shoved on, we're cool. Got 2 pair on a pretty wet board, so we're obviously going to bet. I think I'm going to bet about 50 chips, considering there's 2 people. If it was 1 person, I'll bet 40, but 2 people, we're going to charge a little bit more. So I'll make it 50. $50 chips. Take it down. Would have liked a little bit of action with that hand, but it was kind of vulnerable, so I won't get too upset. These spots here, when I'm facing a small blind limp, I have kind of, when I say kind of, I think I've completely forgotten how to play in these spots. Queen 9, do I want to float this player? I don't think so. Some people, I'm just going to float that kind of hand, Queen 9. I don't think JVS has been super aggro, so I'll leave it. Let's say I know that my opponent is betting far too often in that position, then I just definitely want to start floating a lot. Queen 9 is good enough for me there, and then probably not trying to go for showdown with it, more likely turning it into a bluff on later streets. Okay, I was contemplating free betting here. It wouldn't have worked. Okay, we get another heads up portion. Let's see if we can do better this time. So generally I'm just my pure air that basically got no backdoor draw. I'm going to be bluffing quite often on the flop. As a general, 8-9 would be a hand that I'd often think about free bet shoving, but given that we're playing recreational, I think we can go post flop but with a lot of these types of hands and just play our edge there instead. I think they're quite nice to play. I think we'll play them better than if it's shoved. 9-8, I'm going to, I think I could check, but I'm gonna try and get a little bit of extra money. I'm hoping they don't have an ace. They open raised then checked. I think they got quite a few aces in their range. If they bet really big, I would fold. They don't, so I'm gonna have to look this up. Nice. If they bet like all in, I'd definitely be folding. But it turns out my opponent is able to make the bluff. I think it's fine to bluff his hand. I think he should have gone for a bigger sizing to represent that ace. 10s were happy to play post flop. 6-4. I guess this is another one of those hands that I want to bet on such a board. I think I do play any suited hand against the min raise, this kind of stack depth. We've got a flush draw now, so we're not going anywhere on the flop. He checks it back. Okay, so last time he checked back, it was queen 10 on a jack 8 board. So he could have a reason to call the turn probe. So this would be the kind of hand that I would bet turn and river with. Some players just would always bet if they have a gut shot or any kind of semi bluff that they can think of. They'll bet it. Doesn't look like this player is one of them. I've got the nut flush draw plus a pair, so we're not going anywhere. This bet does scream to me a queen. Maybe we end up bluff raising. And a snap jack as well. Yeah, I'm not going to bluff. Good, good. I think kind of hands I should be bluffing are slightly weaker ones. I think if I had a high card, I'm bluffing all of those hands. It's just that it's a really nice one to turn into a bluff because I got the king of diamonds. But I think I had enough showdown value with the 5, considering there was only one bet, one street's worth of bet. Now we're getting very short. I'm going to try and limp a little bit more than you should against people who are shoving on you enough. I think we'll get away with it quite often, so I think it's worth it. I'm hoping that they haven't hit a 7 or a 3. Fingers crossed. Good. King 2. I'm just going to shove against the limp. I think we're going to get lots more limp folds than we should. I think they're not going to call our shoves as much as they should. They're probably going to shove a little bit tighter. So at these kind of stack depths, you shouldn't really be able to print chips because the strategy is fairly easy to learn, but you do. So that's nice, and nice little win there. If you guys want to know how I'm doing at the moment, I have been playing spin and goes for the past week, getting back into them. I'm going to be doing plenty more grinds over on Twitch. let me show you how it's gone so far. Let me pull that up. So played about 200 games. Started with the 25s, about something like this here, and then moved on to the 50s. Going really well, but no sample, so probably not worth looking at. Absolutely no way I'm going to have 100 chip EV, by the way. So I'm running good so far. I think if I get an EVBB over 10, I'll be very happy, to be honest. Bankroll is looking good. I guess at some point I might move up to the 100s if the 50s keep treating me this well. But there is so much that I need to relearn. And in actuality, I've got a whole new set of pre-flop charts to learn from the Spin and Go GTO pack that you can find over on our website. Let me pull that up. So I'm using these to get a pre-flop game plan going. I'm playing slightly similar to these charts, but I have gone and slightly changed certain things. So if you see here, a lot of things are mixed frequencies to quite an extreme degree, like 5% ISO, things like this. I am unable to learn like that. There's just going to be too many things for me to learn. I wouldn't do very well. So what I've done is kind of averaged out the frequencies and changed this, and I want to keep this to myself, how exactly I'm doing these ranges, because then people will be less likely to be able to find exploits on me. As long as I got the right frequencies, as long as they don't know exactly my game plan, when they don't know exact charts, then they won't be able to exploit too much post-flop unless I'm making post-flop mistakes myself. So yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment. Once I've really locked down my pre-flop game plan, I'm going to go back in the lab and do some post-flop solving. The guys over at Simple Poker have given me a key to use GTO base. I'm going to try out that in the near future, but at the moment I need to work on my pre-flop game because it's shockingly bad at the moment. But yeah, it's all looking good. I hope to be playing $100 spins as soon as possible. As soon as I do that, I'll make another video for YouTube. So hit the subscribe button and the bell notification to be notified when I do that. Thanks everyone for watching. Op.poker James here. Peace.